Welcome to the AORN Virtual Town Hall. I'm Dr. Nakeisha Tolliver, AORN President. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. The agenda for tonight is a welcome. We'll have an introduction of new AORN Executive Director and CEO, David Wyatt. We'll have a Chamberlain update. We'll also have an AORN Global Surgical Conference and Expo update, chapter engagement, and then we'll talk about our approval of our AORN position statements, which include the AORN position statement on managing disruptions and distractions and noise during perioperative patient care. And we'll also approve the AORN position statement on environmental responsibility. This call is being recorded and all lines have been muted. AORN staff will be helping us monitor and respond to the question and answer tab. When it's time, please type your comments in the question and answer tab, and the staff will read them aloud so that all can hear before we answer. As you have heard, Linda Grow is retiring as AORN's Executive Director and CEO at the end of the month. We are so grateful to Linda for 18 years of dedication in advancing the profession of perioperative nursing and patient safety. You are leaving an amazing legacy and foundation of excellence to build on. We are also thrilled to announce that Dr. David Wyatt has accepted the position of AORN Executive Director and CEO and has officially started as of February 10th, 2025. Please join me in welcoming Dr. David Wyatt.
Thank you so much, President Tolliver. I'm very excited to join AORN as the CEO and Executive Director. Those of you that I know that I've been involved with AORN for close to 30 years, and I've seen firsthand the incredible support that AORN provides to the perioperative nursing community. My service to AORN has included involvement in local chapters. I want to give a shout out to the Greater Kansas City chapter. That's where I started. That was my first chapter. I also was involved in the Denver chapter, the Middle Tennessee chapter, and of course, E chapter. I also was very involved in specialty assemblies, particularly the Leadership Specialty Assembly, participated in many task forces and presidential committees, as well as serving on the board of directors, and then finally as president of AORN in 2020 to 2021. I'm sure many of you know that year was quite a challenge. It was an interesting year to do virtually anything in nursing, but particularly it was interesting to be the president of AORN. I saw how our organization makes such a significant impact, even during those incredibly challenging times. The staff at AORN are nothing short of extraordinary, and I'm so impressed with their dedication to our members and our mission. I want to express my sincere gratitude to Linda Grow. In her service of being our CEO, she truly, as Dr. Tolliver mentioned, has left such an amazing legacy. Her exceptional leadership is extraordinary. And I also want to thank Dr. Nakeisha Tolliver for her support during this transition and the amazing ability to lead such a very complex change for an organization during an important time. Dr. Tolliver, you did outstanding. So thank you so much. It really is an honor to build on the legacy that both, and the strong foundation that both of these individuals have laid for us here. My first few weeks here at AORN have been focused on learning more about the business of our association and our organization, and the role that I play in supporting and leading our headquarters team. I also had the pleasure recently, this week actually, of meeting with President Tolliver and Linda and going over lots of the items around governance and Expo planning, and it's really exciting times. For those of you that I don't know, I really look forward to connecting with you at Expo in Boston. For those of you that I know, I want to reconnect. And so I'm thankful for this opportunity and very, very excited Again, Dr. Tolliver, thank you. And I want to hand it back over to you. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you so much, David. We are so excited to have you. The next agenda item is a Chamberlain update. 10 minutes is allocated for this topic, and Dr. Bowen, go ahead.
Thank you. And I just want to say what a tremendous honor and privilege it is to be here today to talk about our practice-ready, specialty-focused nurse education model. This is a model that was put in place working collaboratively with Dr. Karen Cox, who's the president of Chamberlain, as well as Linda Groh, and everybody coming together to look at what would be the best possible next steps throughout the nursing landscape. Next slide, please. Just a little bit about Chamberlain. We're the largest nursing school in the United States. This slide notes that we serve roughly 37,000 students. As of today, it's approximately 40,000. As you can see, it's split between undergraduate students and graduate students. And we have been serving for over 130 years of innovation in healthcare education. You can see our access mission, as well as I want you to note the distribution of undergrad and grad. And the program that I'm speaking about today impacts the undergraduate students. Next slide, please. A little bit about what we were trying to do. So we want to restore the workforce together. So we believe that the role of education is to partner with associations, which is to partner with the healthcare entities to ensure that we are serving the communities. Part of practice ready, specialty focused, there were a few elements that we really wanted to make sure that we had in the forefront. The first is to increase exposure to specialties. The second is that we noted that there was tremendous cost and time with onboarding, and we wanted to reduce that. We also wanted to overall increase the efficiency of orientations. In looking at the landscape, that 1 to 2 year turnover rate for nurses has been profound. And again, just to restate, it's not just the healthcare entities that are responsible for that rate. The educational entities need to be stepping in as well. And so we need to ensure that our students are prepared to meet the needs and hence not turning over. We also want to diversify the nursing workforce. We wanted to come up with a model that was not necessarily specific to one specialty, but one that we could apply across a number of specialties in the hopes of building a pipeline of practice-ready, specialty-focused nurses. Obviously, as paramount importance would be increasing the quality and safety of patient care. And the goal is to ensure that we help our students find their fit, if you will, because we believe that nurses that have found their fit then remain in the workforce and don't turn over with the same frequency. Next slide, please. So what is it, right? What are we talking about here? And what is part of this model? So there's 3 parts of it. There's the professional associations, there's the nurse educators, and there's the healthcare specialty providers. So the professional associations, and as I shared earlier, Dr. Cox, representing Chamberlain University, and Linda Groh met representing AORN, came together and looked at what is it that we could build to build this framework with the intention of practice enhancement rather than a practice change. Next slide. So how does it work? Think of it this way. We have our senior level students at Chamberlain. We provide them an option if they're interested in participating in a 16-week co-curricular self-paced didactic course. That's a lot of words, okay? So essentially what it means is we come to our senior students and say, are you interested in a specialty? And if they say yes, we say, would you like to learn more about that specialty? And are you willing to enroll in a 16-week course? So there's a lot of individuals out there that believe that students aren't seeking additional courses in their final year of nursing, of studying to become a nurse. But we actually have found something a little bit different. When students are seeking their fit, they're very motivated. And we'll talk about the numbers in a little bit. So these students that are senior level students select to do a 16-week co-curricular course. They then do a 96-hour intentional clinical. So what does that really mean? It means if they're doing a perioperative 16-week course, they then decide that they fall in love with periop. They then do a 96-hour intentional clinical in periop. Ideally, they fall even deeper in love with periop. Upon graduation and then passing the NCLEX, we want them to be employed by their clinical partners. We believe that by these individuals finding their fit, we will then reduce the turnover rate in years 1 and 2, which is what this has been designed to do. Next slide. So what is it? In working with AORN, we offer the Introduction to Perioperative Nursing, which is the 16 self-paced modules. And upon the conclusion of it, they receive a digital badge. Digital badges are very popular with the students, and they love to be able to bring those to future employers. In fact, they receive a digital badge for the completion of this course, as well as the completion of a clinical in that respective area. AORN has been incredibly generous in working so closely with us and providing a complimentary 1-year membership to these students so they can further fall in love with periop, as well as fall in love with AORN, because we really believe that these students need to be linked in with the associations early and then really have a fulfilling relationship. And ideally, it results in a reduction in year 1 to 2 turnover rate. You'll hear a common thread. That's something we're very focused on. Next slide. So there's 3 keywords that have been guiding this. It needs to be scalable, sustainable, and transformative. We originally launched it at steady campuses. So we have 23 locations. We originally launched it at 8. The remaining campuses came to us very clearly and loudly explaining that it was not fair that these locations had access to such an incredible resource. So as a result, it then was expanded to new campuses. We wanted to reach new audiences, so we're continuing to talk about this important practice-ready specialty focused nurse education model. We wanted to expand to more specialties. So we started with periop in January of 2022. In May of 2023, we went to home health. And then in January of 2024, we launched in nephrology and emergency. In January of 2025, so just a few weeks ago, we launched in oncology. And we're launching in May of 2025 in critical care. Our students are simply over the moon with these options of looking at these specialties and gaining some exposures. We've been working with a number of different partners. Bright Star Care, we worked with inside of home health. DaVita, we were working with in terms of nephrology, the Emergency Nursing Association, the Oncology Nursing Society, obviously AORN, which was our first partner we came out of the gate with, and then the Association of Critical Care as well, AACN, we've been working with them as well. Very powerful partnerships that are really energizing this initiative. Next slide. So a little bit about this. We were incredibly fortunate in partnering with AORN and applying for a grant through the American Nurses Foundation. There were approximately 300 grants that were proposed and 10 were selected. We were one of the 10, and that partnership with AORN has really taken flight. So as a result of that, we've been able to roll this out and been the agents of change. We've been bridging the gap between education and practice, increasing the employability of new nurses, offering meaningful recognition, and truly addressing the nursing shortage. Next slide. I'd like to introduce you to Aaron Senga. This is one student inside of the program, and I'll talk about many more. His quote, "I am now looking forward to connecting with patients and their families, upholding their dignity, caring with skill, knowledge, and critical thinking." Aaron participated in this program, was the keynote speaker at his graduation, specifically spoke about the experience he had in periop and how it was one of the most meaningful things that he did throughout his journey at Chamberlain and beyond. Aaron is currently employed at Northwestern and is doing a fabulous job. Next slide. So while I talked about one student, it's certainly not one student that has participated in this. Part of the grant, when we applied for it, we were seeking to have 100 students per year for 3 years. So a total of 300 students. Remember, there was the premise that maybe students weren't seeking additional courses in their senior year, and we weren't really sure how everything would resonate. We have never been that wrong. This is something that students have absolutely flocked to. The total enrollments from January 2022 through December of 2024 was over 3,000 students that have now gained exposure to specialty. We had over 2,000 in peri-op, which is a very, very popular specialty. It was the first one to roll out. Of those students, 900 of them have completed a clinical, 825 of those in peri-op, and that we're collecting data of how many are now working in the field, as well as we're collecting their turnover rates. Remember, the hope of decreasing that turnover rate in year 1 and 2. You can see on this slide just a little bit about January. January took off as well. We have over 800 students that are participating in practice ready, specialty focused. And when you look at perioperative, we have 192 students throughout the country that are participating. Again, from the clinical perspective, the students are choosing periop and continuing to move forward with that experience. More than 70% of the perioperative online course completers are diverse, so increasing the diversity that is existing within the specialties of nursing. We've had a total of 84 graduates that have accepted positions in perioperative nursing, representing nearly 96% of students who indicated strong intentions to work in periop. And that number is only going to grow based on when they have graduated and the time of this program rolling forward. Interestingly enough, the students that participate inside of this program also perform better on the NCLEX than the students that don't participate in this program. Again, going back to the importance of fit. When students find their fit, they love their specialty, they love what they're working in, and then they are more successful in the remaining time that they have here at Chamberlain and then beyond. It's been such an honor and pleasure and privilege to be able to partner with AORN to roll out practice ready specialty focused nurse education model at Chamberlain. To put it lightly, it has changed the lives of many, many in the thousands of students. And we're just so grateful for that partnership. With that, back over to you.
Thank you, Danica. Do we have any questions? Go
Hi,
ahead and
President
type your
Tolliver.
questions.
This is Amy. We do have a question for Ms. Bowen. The question is whether other students who register, can other students register for the Chamberlain 16-week course and 96-hour intensive if they're not current Chamberlain senior BSN students, such as a Chamberlain RN BSN student or other individuals outside the current Chamberlain student body who would register for that course?
At this time, no. To be a part of this, it's because of the linkage of the clinical that is inside of it. But this is an AORN product that many students can benefit from. We just are very fortunate to be linking it with the clinical to be able to reinforce the entirety of the experience for the students.
Thank you.
To that point, thank you, Colleen. Chamberlain's one program, AORN's working with 72 programs nationally.
That's great. We have another question as to what is the cost for each student?
It's my pleasure to share that there's zero cost beyond the cost of a student being a Chamberlain student. There's no cost to participate in this program as a result of the ANF generous grant. And students, again, find this to be a tremendous part of the experience at Chamberlain.
Sure. We have another question as to why other nursing colleges wouldn't be fulfilling the same education. I suspect you can't speak for other colleges outside of Chamberlain, but wondering if you have this question.
I'm happy to share. The intent of this is to share. So we've created a playbook as to how to do this because we believe so completely and fully in this model and what it can do to positively change the nursing landscape. I saw Colleen just come up with her picture, so let me pipe down. Go ahead, Colleen.
Oh, no, it's great to see you. And thank you so much, Danica. And thank you for supporting this. I did just want to share that we commented, we are working with approximately 72 programs nationally, and we have programs in Canada now. And when I say programs, much like Danica said, Chamberlain, we count as one program, but you heard her say how many campuses this is at. We are also extending and working with some hospitals, like we started the program in Canada with Amy Young's assistance and help and Linda's support, to be able to start the programs in the hospitals and the hospital be the administrator in lieu of the college. Just sometimes it's just simply because of geography, time, hours, space. When you're 4 hours from your closest school, it works better. So people who are interested, please reach out to me. I'm happy to try to get people connected, and we keep this moving for all of us that have a passion to get more in peri-op.
Thank you. Another question as to whether this program includes EHR simulation.
Go ahead, Colleen.
We do touch on the electronic health record. We work with the programs, so each program has a different set of capabilities. And so I do talk to those programs about what they can do with simulation. And so I will tell you, each one is unique based on their skill sets and the technology available into place.
Thank you. We're going to just do a couple more to stay on time here. I just want to read an endorsement of the program. I am a product of the AORN Chamberlain collaboration. I had a wonderful experience through this program. So thanks everybody for their hard work on that. A question more operational. Do the schools partner with the hospitals to provide the clinicals?
Correct. So I'm my other role as I'm the vice president of clinical operations at Chamberlain, and we absolutely partner, and they're flocking to this. They love that these students are coming into the clinicals much more prepared. The student that I spoke of Aaron Sangra, we actually went and visited Northwestern, and they raved about that these students that participate in the 16-week didactic are so far ahead, and then they do their clinical. And then likewise, once they get hired, these students then graduates and nurses then have a tremendous background that they then bring to the role, and they're much ready to get started.
This is great. Thank you. So we're going to have to cut this discussion short to make sure we stay on the agenda tonight. We do have all of the questions that came in that we didn't get to. We will make sure and get back to you. And if folks are looking for more information about this, where is the best place to go, Danica?
It's located on the Chamberlain webpage, but you can also send a note to me directly at danica.bowen@chamberlain.edu.
All right, thank you. If we didn't get to you, we will get back to you. Back to you, Nakeisha.
All right. Thank you so much, Danica. It's innovative efforts like these and these types of partnerships that are really going to be game changers for how we, really keep our pipeline growing from perioperative nurses. And so we're excited about this, and I'm thrilled to hear how far we've come so far. We have so far to go, but we have done an amazing job. I'm thrilled. Thank you so much for being here tonight. All right, so now we're going to shift a little bit. We're going to go to our next agenda item, which is our AORN Global Surgical Conference and Expo. We have 10 minutes allocated for this discussion. Go ahead, Jillian, take it away.
Thank you, Nakeisha. My name is Jillian Deshane. I am the marketing manager for AORN Global Surgical Conference and Expo. We are counting the days, 45 to be exact, until we arrive in Boston on April 5th for our 72nd annual AORN Expo. I'm going to quote President Tolliver because she has so eloquently defined this year's theme, Together We Rise. It is a promise to support and uplift one another, to celebrate our successes and navigate our challenges. By uniting around a common purpose, nurses can tackle adversity with determination, strength, emerging stronger as a cohesive team. Next slide. This year, we're expecting over 4,000 perioperative professionals. Among them, nearly 1,500 are leaders in our field. 750 work in ambulatory surgery, and for the first time, 100% of our Expo attendees will be AORN members, strengthening our community at the conference and beyond. We have an exciting lineup of expert education, specialized learning tracks, hands-on workshops, cutting-edge research, best practices, and the latest surgical innovations. But more than that, the true heart of this conference is you, the passionate professionals who bring collaboration, energy, and expertise to every conversation and session. The knowledge sharing, networking, and connections you'll make will have a lasting impact, not only on your career, but on your entire organization. Next slide. This conference is also about equipping you with the tangible knowledge and skills to advance your practice and career. Wherever you are in your perioperative journey, there's a learning experience designed just for you. Get up to 50 continuing education contact hours through 8 specialized learning tracks. Get expert answers to your AORN guideline questions. Engage with poster authors to explore their research and insights. Advance your career with leadership sessions. Connect with like-minded individuals and walk away with tangible skills and tools that you can apply right away. We've designed this conference to bring together education, networking, clinical expertise, ensuring that you leave with the resources and strategies and connections you need to make an impact. Next slide. Expo would not be complete without inspiration to reignite your passion for perioperative practice, and we have a lineup of keynote speakers who will do just that. Phil Hansen will open the conference with his powerful story of embracing adversity and limitations to unlock creativity. On Sunday, professional dancer Marissa Hamamoto will inspire us with her journey from stroke survivor to an advocate for disability inclusion through dance. And as the AORN Foundation General Session speaker on Monday, Shola Richards will share how workplace bullying drove him to nearly take his own life. And that's when he discovered the power to build a framework that can help others create positive workplace cultures. These speakers will challenge us to think differently, embrace resilience, and lead with purpose. Next slide. For those of you looking to elevate your leadership impact, the Leadership Summit delivers an exclusive experience. Over 4 days, you'll engage in leader-focused education, including a specialized ASC leader track and dedicated networking opportunities, while also having full access to the general conference sessions and activities. The summit is designed to empower surgical leaders with the knowledge and connections you need to drive meaningful change. We have an incredible lineup of speakers. Let me highlight just a few that are standout sessions. Hannah Spell and Catherine Washington from Lead for Care will explore the critical role of nurse managers and provide intuitive solutions to help navigate the immense challenges of leadership through micro-learning, mentorship, and hands-on application. This session offers strategies to improve succession planning, turnover, burnout, and patient safety. We also have renowned leadership coach Mike Lee, who will review strategies to unlock peak performance and lead with greater impact. Surgical innovator Dr. Teodor Grantarov will showcase disruptive OR technologies that empower teams and optimize outcomes. Executive leadership coach Dr. Phyllis will offer insights on how to navigate persistent uncertainty in 21st century leadership. And that's just a few. The summit has sold out 3 years in a row. We're anticipating it to sell out again. So I would recommend registering soon to secure your spot if you are interested in that. Next slide. The Expo Hall is where cutting-edge solutions, expert insights, and hands-on learning come together to shape the future of surgical care. With over 350 exhibiting companies, there's so much to explore. You can earn credits with in-booth education, study guides, and theaters, discover the newest AI-driven solutions for the OR in the new Better OR booth, get hands-on at the Sterile Processing Skills Studio. And for those exploring new opportunities, the Career Center is where you will find recruiters from the top health systems scouting for talent. You can stop by the AORN Central booth to engage with the authors of the AORN guidelines. And of course, there will be a plethora of opportunities to unwind and have fun, from the high energy welcome reception to games with thousands of dollars worth of prizes, and then of course, the rejuvenating wellness pavilion. So whether you're looking for new technology, industry connections, expert guidance, the Expo Hall is a destination you won't want to miss. Next slide. So after all this, you deserve time to unwind and celebrate with your colleagues. We have 2 unforgettable parties planned for the perfect chance to network and have some fun. First, the kickoff party, a Boston Harbor Carnival, will be on Saturday night in the Convention Center, filled with live entertainment, classic carnival games, and Boston-inspired food and drink. Then get ready to dance on Monday night at the Foundation's Boston Boogie Bash, being hosted at the Grand. This party is all about music, movement, and making a difference by benefiting the AORN Foundation. These events are can't miss moments to celebrate. Next slide. If you have any questions or comments, please type them into the Q&A. You can also visit aorn.org/surgical expo for all the event details, or scan that QR code there. And then as a reminder, early bird pricing is available until March 5th. So be sure to register soon to lock in the best rate. There are also many other discounts available, including best prices for AORN members. There are group discounts, military discounts, 2-day passes. All of that information is on our pricing page of the website. So thank you so much for your time this evening. In closing, I ask that you spread the word, encourage your colleagues to join us. So we can't wait to reunite with the AORN community in Boston.
Thank you so much, Jillian. If you have questions, please make sure you enter those into the question and answer tab, and Amy will let us know if we have some.
Thank you, President Tolliver. Jillian, you answered this in your slides, but I'll let you say it again. Is the Leadership Summit sold out?
Not yet.
That's
So
great. We have a question as to whether there'll be market research at Expo this year, and if so, when will registration be? Yes, there will be market research this year. Registration is not open yet. You'll see that in chart notes, which is available starting March 7th. So keep an eye out for that, and do just reach out to us directly if you have questions. There is a question as to whether there is a virtual Expo this year.
Thank you for asking that. No, there is not. That is a change this year due to low utilization year over year. We are not offering a virtual expo as a standalone product this year. So we are encouraging everyone to join us on site. There's so much more to offer, and we hope that we will see you there in Boston.
Thank you, Jillian. One member asked if we can see a list of programs and speakers prior to the conference. That agenda is on the website right now, so you can look at that. And then there's also the conference schedule, speakers agenda, everything will be in the app when that comes out right before Expo. We have a question as to, we get this every year, I love it. How much is the foundation party and how do we get tickets?
Tickets to the foundation party are $40, and you can add those to your cart while you're registering.
So I feel like you answered this in the virtual, but let's just make sure everybody's on the same page. Will attendees have access to the session recordings after the conference?
No, so that's also part of the not having a virtual conference, is that we are not recording all of the sessions this year.
Got it. And similarly, there will not be an education hub on site. Correct? Correct. Okay. Correct. There will not be an education hub on site. Like I said, we all want to be on the same page. What question, how do I learn more about the ambulatory track this year?
So that information is also on the website. So if you look at the schedule by day, that's where you will find all of the session details, the times, the speakers, the titles. Anything that's a part of that ambulatory track will say ASE in parentheses behind the title.
Great. And are we still looking for monitors or moderators to introduce speakers for sessions?
Yes, you can do that on the website as well. So there is a page called AORN Ambassadors. And on that page, there is a link to fill out a survey to sign up to volunteer as an ambassador and moderator.
That's great. Where could attendees find a list of vendors to get in good shape for the Expo floor?
Also on the website. So visit AORN.org Surgical Expo and then navigate to the page called Navigating the Expo Hall. And there will be a link to the floor plan there.
Got it. Thank you. We had a question as to when the Peers Award program is. That's the session on Sunday afternoon this year. Do we have a date when the app will be available? Not yet.
I don't have an exact date yet, but it's 2 weeks prior.
Perfect.
And the link to download the app or the information when it is live will be included in those chart notes newsletters that will be starting on March 7th. There'll be weekly newsletters with all of the information you need to prepare for being on site. So as long as you're registered for the conference, you will be on the list to get those communications.
That is great. Another question, can folks enrolled for the leadership sessions, do they also have access to the ASC track?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, I think we have completed our rapid fire Expo questions for Jillian. tonight. We appreciate it. If you asked us a question and we didn't get to you, reach out. We will get back to you. You can call customer service with AORN and we'll make sure and help you out.
Thank
All
you.
right. Seeing no other questions, thank you so much, Jillian. I'm so excited. I know we're all excited to see everyone in Boston, and it's just in, what did you say, 45 short days? I wasn't trying to do a countdown, but you gave it to me, so here we go. So we are excited about Boston. So you guys make sure you check the website and get all of that information. All right, so we're going to move on to our next agenda item, which is on chapter engagement. We have 10 minutes that's allocated for Holly Irvine. Go ahead.
Thank you, President Tolliver. Good evening, President Tolliver, members of the Board of Directors, and esteemed colleagues. I was invited to speak to you today in regards to the Chapter Engagement Task Force. Next slide, please. Nope, go back one, please. Thank you. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the task force members, board liaison, and staff liaisons listed here. Thank you all for your hard work and your patience during this year. Next slide. So, how did we get here? There's a little bit of a backstory. Next slide, please. A few years back, AORN partnered with Limelight. Limelight is a consulting firm that does qualitative and quantitative market research studies. The focus of this partnership was on membership. Through surveys and focus groups, they had 2,600 participants. 2,000 of those participants were AORN members and 600 were non-members. Next slide, please. During that time, a survey was conducted and was sent out to those members. There was a good mix across titles, career stage, and site of care. Some of the items that were tested were reasons that they belong or don't belong to an association, satisfaction with AORN and likeliness to recommend, value of AORN benefits against AORN's effectiveness in delivering on the value, new product concepts, and new membership models. Next slide, please. We learned a lot during this time, but what was pertinent to this task force was that a bundled membership model was the most desirable across all stages. Next slide, please. So while we were asking specifically about membership, what we also learned in an oh, by the way situation was that chapters were actually identified as a low value benefit to the member. The majority of members are not engaged at the chapter level, and there was a perception that chapters are just a good old girls club. Next slide, please. So the staff and the board of directors collaborated to generate ideas and concepts relative to these findings. One of those ideas or concepts was on 3 different membership models, such as tiered, bundled, or having a traditional membership with enhancements. All of these membership models could possibly change the way AORN engages with their members. Next slide, please. And from there, the 2024-2025 Chapter Engagement Task Force was formed. Next slide, please. The purpose of this task force was to consider new models and prospects for members across the country to participate in member engagement opportunities such as networking and education. Next slide, please. Our initiatives were to explore new ways our members can participate in networking, education, and other engagement activities to expand perioperative nursing, to discuss and suggest new models such as regional or state-based groups for initiative number 1, and to provide a recommendation to the board of directors on a successful new chapter model if that was found to be applicable. Next slide, please. So originally, the plan was for us to utilize Limelight to conduct a survey of the members. But the financial impact of Limelight turned out to be more significant than initially anticipated and became cost prohibitive. The survey questions were constructed and revised by our task force and the team from headquarters. Next slide, please. This morning, emails with the link to the survey were sent out to all current AORN members and any member who has lapsed in the last 12 months. A report of preliminary data will be given in the forum at Expo with the opportunity for members in attendance to complete the survey if they have not already done so, and there will also be time for open discussion during the forum. The survey is now open and will remain open until after Expo. The QR code shown here will take you to the survey if you have not already received the link or filled out the survey. Next slide, please. I'm open to any questions that anyone may have at this time.
We have one question about other ways to break in to get involved with AORN besides through a chapter. You have the specialty assemblies that is a great way to get involved. You can reach out to our president-elect, Darlene Murdoch. She is working on her committee assignments for next year. That's other ways that you can get involved. That's great. We had a request to put the survey QR code back up on the slide, so you can grab that right now if you would like.
Oh, thank you, Natalie. Yes, eChapter is also a great way to get involved.
Any more
I see.
questions, Amy?
No, no more questions, President Tolliver.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Holly, for taking on this initiative. I know it's a big one, but it's so important to what we do. We know we're a member-driven organization, and we want people to get everything out of it that they want to, and so it's important for us to see this through. So I thank you for leading this, and you and your team have been engaged, and it's important for us to continue this. So please, please, please take the survey, everyone, and stay tuned for more information as we continue to explore the options we have as we work to support our chapters and encourage meaningful engagement. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
All right, so voting for our national candidates open on March the 5th. It's the responsibility of each of us to learn more about these candidates and to vote on the leaders that you want on your board of directors and nominating committee. Join us on this Saturday, February 22nd, for the candidates' speeches and virtual meet and greet. Be sure to also review their bios in the AORN Journal for January, and it's also on our website. Voting will be open through midnight Eastern Time on April the 7th, 2025. Don't forget to vote. I want this to be the year where we have the most votes than we've had in the last 10 years. So go ahead and put it on your calendars now. Tell all of your friends, make sure they put it on their calendars, have a voting party, whatever it takes. Just do whatever you can to make sure we get those votes in. It's such an important part of the work of our organization. So now we have some housekeeping things that we need to take care of. So the AORN board and AORN staff have agreed on the need for members to be able to approve new and revised AORN position statements between annual congresses. Our bylaws require a quorum for any special business meeting to be at least 100 members with a minimum of 10 members from each of AORN's 5 specified regions. Before we proceed with this special business meeting, we need to confirm that a quorum is present. Please review the map on the screen to determine your region. Your region is your state where you reside. It is not related to your chapter affiliation. Be sure to remember your region since you will be asked to vote shortly. So as you can see from the map, Region 1 includes Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Region 2 includes Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and West Virginia. Region 3 includes Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. Region 4 includes Alaska, California, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Oregon, Utah, Washington State, and Wyoming. And Region 5 includes Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. If you are an international member, click International. You count as well towards the quorum. Okay, so hopefully each of you have memorized your region number. To determine that we have a quorum present, mark the region that you reside in. Vote now.
Dr. Tolliver, this is Amy. We do have a quorum. We have at least 10 from each of those 5 regions and at least 100.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Amy, for these preliminary results. Let's see. With this quorum, we will proceed with the special business meeting. Our second housekeeping task is to agree to suspend the application of Robert's Rules of Order for this special business meeting. We are limited by technological capabilities of this meeting platform. Our goal is to foster discussion on the position statements without being hamstrung by technical or procedural limitations. We will still take all questions prior to the vote. Therefore, I'm moving to suspend the application of Robert's Rules of Order and purposes of this electronic special business meeting. Without this suspension, we will be unable to proceed with this meeting.
I second the motion.
The motion is, thank you for that second. The motion is not debatable and requires a 2/3 vote. Vote now.
The motion is approved.
Thank you so much, Amy. We are now ready to discuss the AORN position statement on managing disruptions, distractions, and noise during perioperative patient care. This position statement was posted for public comment, and the comments have been incorporated. It has been through editorial review, and the board of directors has approved the statement. Renee Wright will serve as the resource for this discussion. Go ahead, Renee.
Dr. Tolliver, I believe Renee is having some technical difficulties. Would we be able to move forward with the environmental responsibility position statement?
Yes, we can do that. I can barely hear you, Zach. You might have to speak up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to pivot a little bit, and we're going to go to our position statement on environmental responsibility, and we'll come back to Renee with that one. This is also a statement that has been posted for public comment. They have been also incorporated, been through editorial review, and has been approved by the board of directors as well. Zach will serve as the resource for this discussion. Go ahead, Zach. Thank you.
For flexibility and dealing with technical difficulties. Sometimes Zoom's our best friend. So I would like to start by saying, thank you again, everybody, for attending the town hall today. Again, I'm Zach Swartz, a perioperative practice specialist with AORN, and I was lead author for the update of the position statement for environmental responsibility over the last year. And again, I would also like to say thank you to everybody who's contributed to the work on the position statement. Thank you to the members of the Clinical Nursing Practice Committee, Renee Wright, Aaron Kyle, and Liz Cowperth-Waite for your input, edits, and thoughts, which were all so helpful throughout this process. Of course, I'd also like to thank everybody who was able to provide comments during public commenting period, and Linda Groh, President Tolliver, and the Board of Directors for voting to approve the updates of this impactful position statement. So updating this position statement on environmental responsibility included a systematic review of the evidence from the last 5 years and led us to make some updates to the statements and rationale with newer references and current statistics. An additional statement was included to emphasize AORN's belief in prioritizing sustainability throughout all phases of construction in healthcare facilities, including design, construction, maintenance, and renovation. Another statement was revised to reflect the need for proactive efforts to mitigate negative environmental impacts on patients and the communities that we serve. And lastly, there were updated examples of environmentally responsible practices healthcare facilities can undertake as part of their sustainability efforts, and an updated list of resources to access for all members who see the position statement. So with the updates and additions that were made to this position statement, it is still a relevant and useful resource, and I propose that you approve this update to continue to provide perioperative teams with these guiding principles in their efforts to improve sustainability in the perioperative setting. And I know that was quite a quick run through and kind of change in agenda items and everything, but if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A tab, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Zach. Are there any high-level questions? Please make sure we limit your discussion to those that are substantive comments. So you can type those in the question and answer tab, and the staff will read them out loud so that we can have a discussion.
Dr. Tolliver, this is Amy. I'm not seeing any questions on the position statement for environmental responsibility.
All right, thank you, Amy. So we will now take a vote. The motion is to approve the AORN position statement on environmental responsibility. A majority vote is required. Vote now.
Dr. Tolliver, the motion passed. I want to note for the minutes that the text on the slides is to approve the position statement on managing disruptions, but we were all on the same page during this call that this was a vote for the environmental responsibility position statement that Zach just presented to us.
Thank you so much, Amy, for that note. Thank you for your votes, everyone. The AORN position statement on environmental responsibility is approved. And if Renee is back on, I think we're ready to discuss our AORN position statement on managing disruptions, distractions, and noise during perioperative patient care.
Yes,
Go ahead,
hello.
Renee.
Thank you so much, President Tolliver, and thank you everyone for your patience. I just had some technical difficulties there. Hello, everyone. Although I'm the one that's speaking on this position statement tonight, I would like to acknowledge the contributions of Luke Jobman, who co-authored the revision of this document with me, Kristen Seaman, our medical librarian, who performed the literature search, Liz Cowperthwaite, who edited the document, members of the Clinical Nursing Practice Committee who gave feedback during the drafting phase, and Dr. Erin Kyle, Editor-in-Chief of the guidelines, who put the finishing touches on this position statement. I would also like to thank everyone who was able to submit comments during the public commenting period for this position statement. Your voices and your input are really invaluable to this process. And I'm really happy to report that we were able to incorporate all of the feedback that we received in some shape or form in the final version of this document. Next slide, please. So this year, the newly retitled position statement on managing disruptions, distractions, and noise during perioperative patient care was assigned for revision, meaning it was determined that it required more than just a simple refresh of the references and minor grammatical changes. Importantly, since the last revision of this document, the guideline for team communication was updated, and we wanted to clarify AORN's position on the use of personal electronic devices in the clinical setting. So just a brief overview of what we did here. We reviewed the new literature on the topic, so nearly 70 full-text articles, and we used it to refresh the previously cited references. The new evidence also supported the addition of disruptions to the title of the document, and we added it as a glossary term as well. Clarifying language was added to the position statement bullets, including the addition of music volume as an example of noise and distraction, and expansion of the listed different types of settings where distractions and noise can occur. A new statement was also added that personal electronic device use should be limited to the clinical applications to acknowledge that these devices can contribute positively to patient care when they're used appropriately, and recognize that they can also serve as a source of distraction. Additionally, the rationale was revised to better address the impact of disruptions, distractions, and noise on team communication. This included adding discussion of the effect of music volume on the perioperative team during surgery and minor changes to the list of the factors contributing to distractions and noise that reflected the newer literature. We also added a list of actions to reduce disruptions and noise that was supported by the newer evidence. And finally, we added resources from the American Academy of Audiology, the American Society of Anesthesiologists, and the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health to the organizational resources listed at the end of the document. Thank you for your consideration, and I will now take questions.
Thank you, Renee. Are there any high-level questions?
I'm not seeing any questions, President Tolliver. We do have a comment that AORN could include future position statements in the journal prior to these meetings with all the input included.
Okay, thank you for that comment. All right, if we're not seeing any new discussions, then we will now take a vote. The motion is to approve the AORN position statement on managing disruptions, distractions, and noise during the perioperative patient care. A majority vote is required. Please vote now.
The motion is approved.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everyone, for your votes. The AORN position statement on managing disruptions, distractions, and noise during the perioperative patient care is approved. I would like to personally thank you all for participating in this special business meeting and allowing the approval of these position statements and the work of the association to continue moving forward during the year. Staff will check the participant list following this meeting to confirm the quorum and will let us know if there were any issues. This adjourns the business portion of this special business meeting. We hope you have all registered for the AORN Global Surgical Conference and Expo in April in Boston. We're excited for this conference. Together we rise. Thank you so much for joining us, and we appreciate everything that you do every day. And one last thing, make sure that you get out and vote for your board of directors and nominating committee, and ensure that you have 3 or 4 friends that do it with you. So have a great evening, and we will see you in Boston.